Freeze, man. Oh. Sir, the colors are present.
Post the colors.
Fury from the sky.
All the way.
Forward. On. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Remain standing for the national anthem. Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Invocation will be given by Andrew.
Bow our heads, please. Almighty God, who has brought us together in this association to uphold the ideals of the airborne trooper, keep us faithful and true to the finest things in American life. Never let us forget the lessons of war, so that way they may be our guides in the times of peace. Strengthen and protect the armed forces of our nation, that they may be a safeguard against those who would overthrow our way of life. Grant us grace fearlessly to contend against evil and to make no peace with oppression. Help us to use our freedom for the maintenance of justice among men and nations. Grant that we may do this all and other things in memory of our departed comrades, whose presence is among us and never to be forgotten. Unite us in steadfast loyalty to the ideals for which courageous troopers have defended with great sacrifice. We offer this prayer in the name of our Lord. Amen.
Amen. All right, there's going to be a little bit of a break in between. We've got a very special message that we have from Normandy.
Yes.
So come on up.
When Ernie Lamson went to Normandy, he stayed at the home of Nandu and Veronica. And today, I sent a picture of Ernie here at the reunion, and I received this message. Hello, can you give Ernie a message from me? Tell him that I still think a lot about him a lot every day that passes. He is in my heart. He was my first veteran and will always be. Veronica, Gavin, Simon, and I will always be there for him. We embrace you all so very tenderly. Nanu.
All right, please be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I point your attention over here to the fine young gentleman in the pink shirt. Airborne. That is our very own two-Fury veteran, Aaron Headley. He is going to give you the significance of the missing soldier table. At the end of each sentence, we say we remember. He'll initiate, and I'd like for you to say we remember after each time he says it. Aaron Headley, go ahead.
The fallen soldiers table. Those who have served and those who currently serving in the uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. They are compelled to never forget that we will enjoy our daily pleasures others have endured or may be still enduring, the agonies of pain and internment. We call attention to this small table which occupies a piece of dignity and honor. We remember.
We remember.
The tablecloth is white, the purity of their intentions in response to their country's call to arms.
We remember.
The single rose in a vase signifies the blood they may have shed for our freedom.
We remember.
The slice of lemon signifies their bitter fate.
We remember.
The salt reminds us of the countless tears families as they wait.
We remember.
The glass inverted, they can't drink with us tonight.
We remember.
The chair is empty, they are not here.
We remember.
Let us not forget the sacrifices of those and their families.
We remember. All right, we will go ahead and go to the candlelight ceremony.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phil Cronin, and I served with the 18th Platoon in Vietnam with the 1st and 508. And at this time, I would like to ask Lois Andrews and Gary Raisbeck to come forth to light the 2 candles in memory of the 82nd Airborne Division paratroopers lost over the last 8 decades and their beloved family members who have passed on. May their memories always burn in our hearts.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask that you stand for the playing of taps and remain standing for the playing of Amazing Grace. Please be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have your attention really quick. If you have a few moments while you're eating, we're gonna do a couple of videos up here, a couple of comments from around the world. Jonathan, when you have the chance, go ahead and initiate that, and the way I'll continue to eat your dessert. It's really good.
Hello everyone, this is Lou. I'm sorry I can't be there at the reunion, but my health won't allow me to travel, and I just want to wish everybody a happy, good time there, thinking about you, and hopefully I'll be able to make the next one. Take care, and thank you for everything. Goodbye.
Hi, y'all. Hope you're having a great time. Sorry we had to miss you this time.
Hi everyone, happy reunion, wish you the best, sorry we missed it. Piper and I are wishing everyone a fantastic reunion. Airborne all the way.
Stay healthy, stay safe, God bless.
Greetings, Airborne. This is Master Sergeant Dennis Munden, Operations NCO for 1/508. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel B.R. Fitzgerald and Command Sergeant Major Russ Beard, as well as the Red Devils of 1508 Fort Kobe, Panama, 1989-1990, we wish to extend our heartfelt wishes for a great reunion. Hope camaraderies are rebuilt, and we look forward to meeting you at the rally point. Fury from the sky.
Hello everyone, this is Warren Wilt, and I miss you, all of you. Have a good time.
Say hello first to my 508 Parachute Infantry Regiment friends, family and friends. I'm going to talk about a miraculous thing that happened to a very good friend of mine, Sergeant Frank Dash, better known as Dutch. And we were suiting up for the D-Day jump, the night of June 5th. And when we suit up, we get pretty big. The parachutes probably weigh about 40 pounds, and then all the other gears that we had for the jump, we probably weigh 100 pounds more than our normal body weight. But as we were sitting up that way, we had bandoliers that were cloth circles that held clips of our M1 ammunition. And the normal way to use those was to put them on over your head and they would cross on your body, which was pretty uncomfortable when you put the rest of the stuff on. So I had determined that because my pants pockets on the jumpsuit were so full of K1 rations and underwear and a bunch of other stuff, that I could put those on above those pockets and they'd be secure. I had decided to put that on my legs instead. And I turned to Dutch and I said, hey, this is a lot more comfortable. You're better balanced. Why don't you switch yours? And he reached up and then he said, oh, to hell with it. I got him on and I'm going to leave him that way. So we proceeded to the planes, all bundled up. Heavy needing help to get up the 3 steps into the C-47, and away we went. We made the jump into Normandy, and a lot of things happened, which I won't go into, because the story is afterwards. And, well, the story is then, but I tell it afterwards. The story was that when we jumped right over a regiment, battalion, whatever, of German infantry. So we were immediately under fire. And bullets, you'd see the tracers streaking up past us. And during that period, Dutch came under fire directly. And the result was that Tommy guns, burp guns, repeating guns, they tend to go up when you fire. And so when they fired on Dutch, the bullets hit down toward the bottom of his bandolier and tic-tac right up that bandolier, probably hitting him 4 or 5 times. And he thought he was dead, he said afterwards, because although none of them penetrated his chest, he was lacerated a lot, and there was a lot of blood. So that was the story about Dutch and his miraculous escape from death. And I got into some trouble and wound up in the hospital for a while. And when I came back, about 2 weeks later, to the barracks, you'll remember that I had those bandoliers around my thighs, and he had his across the chest. I went into the barracks. It was nighttime. I got back about 11 o'clock, opened the door, all the lights came on, and I figured when they saw me, they'd all say, "Oh, Porter, my gosh, it's good to see you." Dutch, Frank Dash, who was sitting up on the second tier bunk, looked at me and he turned to the other guys and he says, "There's the SOB that almost got me killed." So that was the only story I could think of that might interest some people. Was I can laugh about it now, but it was pretty wonderful that it turned out the way it did. And Dutch and I continued our friendship till his dying day, which was all too soon, but many, many years. And you see that little guy? We were at a reunion, and Dutch and his wife, his redhead, found out it was my birthday. So they went to the PX or whatever it was, and this apparently was the only thing they could find. He's not singing. Maybe I broke him. Oh, there it goes. Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really weak. It used to be a lot stronger than that. Anyway, that's my keepsake. And it sits right in my bedroom on the windowsill. I turn it on every once in a while and listen to it. Yeah, I want to say a word or two to the present day troopers. A lot of them have had deployments already. A lot of them have seen combat already. But all I can say is that what we do is very worthwhile. And something probably, well, not probably, my service, especially being in the paratroops, probably the proudest thing in my life. I got by without crying that time.
Paratroopers of the 508th, it's an incredible honor to speak to you tonight. There is no finer PIR than the 508th, and I can promise you this. All of the members of the 508th and the 82nd Airborne Division are ready to go anywhere in the world and do anything that our nation needs. Just like First Sergeant Funk, who earned the Medal of Honor during World War II, and Sergeant First Class Tomlin, who earned the Silver Star in Afghanistan, we know the Fury paratroopers are ready to go anywhere, anytime. And again, I can never tell you how honored I am to continue to serve with the greatest paratroopers in the world, those of the 508th. I hope you all have a great night. Airborne all the way.
Fury from the sky, my fellow 508th alum. I'm Colonel Buddy Ferris, 3rd Brigade Commander, 82nd Airborne Division. I hope that you're all remembering, reuniting, and rekindling your bonds of brotherhood forged in the crucibles of combat. I also proudly and fondly remember my own time in the 508th fighting across Sari, Maiwand, and the Arghandab River Valley. Thank you for all you have done, and thank you for your service to your Army, your nation, and the 508th Regiment. Please know that your paratroopers today stand ready to answer the nation's call. And if the sirens of war sound again, we will break glass and unleash fury. All the way, airborne. Fury from the sky.
All right, now we're gonna have Andrew Ritter come up here real quick and do an introduction for our Gold Star families.
All right, with us this evening, we have some very special guests up here to my right. We have the families of 2 Gold Star families, Cindy and Steve Folcom, First Sergeant Russell Bell. I was there on that deployment. It was a rough one. Please welcome Cindy and Steve Holcomb. And the parents of Joey Riley. I never met Joey. I left the battalion probably the year prior to that. Please welcome Michelle and Rodney Riley.
All right, I'm tall enough to reach the microphone. That's always a good start. Hey, for those of you who don't know, I'm Harry Joward, the Vice President of the Association. It's been great meeting all of you that I haven't. Great turnout. The food's been good. Chris can take a breath, but no banquet would be complete without some guest speaking, right? So, the next 2 guys are gonna be in 508 history, whether they like it or not, for the rest of time. We're gonna hear first from Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Stone, the current 1 Fury Battalion Commander, and then he will be followed by 2 Fury's current Battalion Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Bell. So, without further ado, Colonel Stone, the floor is yours.
Hello, Colonel Stone.
Swift Response 21, 9 C-17 aircraft delivered 4,200 paratroopers, 3,500 miles, 2 in-flight aerial refuels and in-flight raid, and dropped us 100 miles from St. Petersburg.
Wow.
24 hours later, we air assaulted the entire battalion 75 miles from St. Petersburg. That's what your paratroopers are doing. So look at this, awesome, huh? Look at the legacy that is in this room right now. Thank all of y'all for being here. Andrew, Chris, our Gold Star families, thank you for being here. Thanks for putting this together. What a tribute to an amazing legacy, an amazing storied unit. The CG said it, the best regiment in the Army. Round of applause to 508. Awesome. Now, no, Sergeant Major had a chance to talk to y'all yesterday about 2 of his favorite things together: public speaking and PowerPoint. So I'm sure he talked for a long time. So I'm going to try to go just a little bit quicker and keep this short. But seriously, on behalf of the 82nd Airborne Division, Major General Donahue, Division Commander Sergeant Major Pitt, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, Colonel Ferris, Sergeant Major Davis, all the paratroopers of One Fury, the leaders of One Fury, thanks for having us here. This is what an awesome opportunity after a year in COVID. So this is really special. We appreciate it. Now, if y'all don't mind, I'd like y'all just we're going to take a figurative foot march, okay? And I'd just like you guys to walk with Sergeant Major and I. Our objective is a little bit of shared understanding about our culture in One Fury, about where we were over the last year. Sergeant Major, I like to say, in command but out of control. That's basically what we were for the last year. And where we're going, how we're going to continue to prepare for our hardest day in combat. Okay? So, Sergeant Major and I, once a month, we take all of our new paratroopers and we take them on a foot march. And we talk about the CG's priorities. Unbeatable LGOPs, living a legacy. Deploy, fight, win anywhere in the world in 18 hours and transform the division. The things that make the 82nd Airborne Division different than any other unit in the United States Army. More unique than any other unit in the world. The things that make us special. We talked about our culture inside of One Fury. Fight culture. We ask our dudes to do one thing: get in the fight. Follow the golden rule and still trust, give their best, hold each other accountable, and take initiative. That's what we talk about. The first objective of our foot march is a piece of key terrain. Out in the woods, some of y'all may be familiar with Area J on Fort Bragg. You may or may not have spent some time walking out there. It's a low water crossing, and it could be your airborne objective. We asked our paratroopers to stop, and we looked and we said, look left and right. And we asked them, do you know the paratrooper to your left, and do you know the paratrooper to your right? And most commonly the answer with all these new guys is no. I don't know the paratrooper to my left, and I don't know the paratrooper to my right. And we asked them to look again, and we asked them to remember that that's probably the paratrooper that they're going to fight with. That is their LGOP. That is their LGOP. They're a little group of paratrooper. It's going to be somebody that you know. Because I say when the paratroop door opens, the first thing that probably gets thrown out is the plan. I don't know where everybody's going to land. Sergeant Major doesn't know where everybody's going to land. Right? You don't know who you're going to land next to or what weapons you're going to land with. We're blunt. And we remind them that the LGOP doesn't care about your race, your sex, your creed, your MOS, or even your rank most times. It only cares that you can do your job. Can you do your job? And that's what we talked to them about. The LGOP only cares if you can jump out of an airplane in the middle of the night into a foreign country, that you can find the paratrooper to your right, that you can find the paratrooper to your left, and you can begin to kill everybody that does not look like you. Can you do that? We ask them that, because it's going to be hard. And we know it's going to be hard. The LGOP only cares that you get in the fight. We remind them We keep it simple. We master the basics. We can have the best plans, we can have the best kit. We'll never win without a beat all gods. We talked about that. Our next objective, the 82nd Airborne Division Museum, their memorial, where I would say the mortality and the immortality of our division comes together. The historic legacy of this division comes together. You see it all in that one spot. We asked our paratroopers again, we said, look left and look right. But this time, look past the paratrooper standing to your left and to your right, and to the paratrooper on the wall. That lives only there. That's legacy. And now they're part of that legacy. We asked them to remember what it means to be part of that legacy. The legacy of a battalion that jumped into Normandy, Holland, and stood the line in the Ardennes. A battalion that answered the call in Vietnam, Panama, and Europe. And a battalion that fought across the Great Roads of Zari, Panjwai, and the Argonaut Valley, paying the price in the blood, sweat, tears of our paratroopers. Those that still stand in our ranks today, like First Sergeant Hill and some of our other paratroopers that stand in the ranks. And we asked them to remember that legacy and to think about that legacy, to get in the fight and to live the legacy. Our final objective is back at our barracks. We do a number of things there with them. We go through their rooms. We make sure that we're doing the right thing. We're taking care of our paratroopers. We're in processing them correctly. They have all the right kit. They have all the stuff. Their NCO is bringing them in the unit correctly. We also talk about what we've done over the last year and what we're going to do in the next year. So what has 1-3 done over the last year? Simply put, we've done nothing but win. At everything we've done, win. Your paratroopers are trusted. They are the force of choice for the division commander and the brigade commander. We are continually selected for the most complex, difficult, and Sergeant Major will tell you, ambiguous, weird, off-the-wall missions that they only know one unit can go and get it right.
Airborne.
1-3. 1-3 wins everything. Division Paratrooper of the Year, Best Rifle Squad, Best Weapon Squad, Best Sniper Team, Best Platoon Leader. Every single battalion command PT event, Sergeant Major and I have won. Command Sergeant Major won the Division's Command Sergeant Major Physical PT event. We have the #1 company at the battalion, at the brigade CalFest. Honor graduates of the Mortar Leader course, Advanced Leader course, and the Basic Leader course. We had the first female Ranger graduate, enlisted Ranger graduate in the United States Army in 1-3. That's awesome. Awesome. And we had the most EIBs in the division. Panther Storm 1, Panther Storm 2, Immediate Ready Force 1, JRTC, IRB 1, Swift Response 21. I'll ask you what they all have in common. Take a wild guess. 1-3 was the main effort. Hand selected by the division commander, hand selected by the brigade commander to lead, because your paratroopers win at every single thing they do. We have led the division in every single major operation over the last year. That's what your paratroopers are doing. They get in the fight. They follow the overrule, they instill trust, they do their best, they hold each other accountable, they take initiative. It's not easy. It is not easy, and we're not perfect. Sergeant Major was talking to you about it. Every day we are closing a gap between confidence and competence. It's incredible. We're untraining Iraq and Afghanistan, and we're preparing ourselves for large-scale combat operations. It is hard. And your non-commissioned officers and your paratroopers are doing a great job. They're learning, they're growing, they're getting better. They're making a team that wants to win at everything. To do this, we follow a very simple principle. The first principle of training, FM7-0, tells you what? Train as you fight. We train as we fight. We keep it simple, we master the basics. We empower, but more importantly, we expect our non-commissioned officers to plan, train, resource, and lead our training for our paratroopers. There's no other way that we're going to win. There's no other way that we're going to make an unbeatable all out. tough, gritty, realistic, in your face, start to finish, whistle to whistle, one end of the court to the end of the court. That is how our training has to be. Team live fire. We fight out of the harness. We employ hand grenades and rockets to knock out bunkers, because that's how we're going to fight. Squad live fire. We employ every single organic weapon system in the squad to clear a mile wire obstacle and contaminate additional sustained casualties, because that's how we're going to fight. Platoon live fire. We introduce our mortars, we introduce our scouts, we introduce our heavy weapons company. We reduce the mile wire obstacle, we knock out multiple bunkers in a contaminated environment with multiple casualties, because that's how we're going to fight. We know that's how we're going to fight. We apply suppress, secure, reduce, and assault, the fundamentals of SOSRA, to defeat an enemy in large-scale combat operations. No free passes in Fury. No free passes. Just enough doesn't exist in Fury. Our NCO Corps has trained a team that is ready to deploy, fight, and win anywhere in the world in 18 hours. I can guarantee you that. So what's next for 1 period? I see that. Busy year. Busy year. Fury Fight 4, our second generation squad live fires are about to start. We'll air assault the entire battalion over 1 period of darkness. Out into the back 40, we'll conduct 2 series of squad live fires while our Delta Company does platoon live fires. Simultaneously, we will prepare for our platoon live fires. But oh, by the way, the CG just said, 1 to 1 Fury, you're the best, so I need you guys to take on the integrated visual augmentation system. What the Army is going to use to replace the night vision device. It's archaic, it's old, it's done, it's not going to win in the future. We need something new, and 1 Fury has been selected to test it, to field it, and to help make it better so we can fight and win the next war. It's going to be a hard task for your paratroopers because it's going to be really, really different. But 1 Fury can meet the challenge. So we're going to test that for the Army. 7 weeks in the field, large-scale combat operations, force-on-force, live-fire conditions with the new system that's going to replace the night vision device. So we can see the enemy first, we can engage them first, we can kill them first, and we can win. Integrated visual augmentation system. 1 Fury is going to finish that. We're going to immediately jump into our culminating training event so we can stand IRF-1 again. We can stand the watch again, ready to deploy anywhere in the world in 18 hours. We'll conduct a second series of CALFEXs. And then, right around Christmas, we're going to do another series of platoon live fires. 1 Fury, rest assured, is helping to meet the CG's priorities. We're transforming the division through the integrated visual augmentation system. How do we do all of it? Fight culture, follow the rules, don't trust you, that's what we're doing. Take initiative. We fight. We get in the fight. We ask our paratroopers every day. We can't do all this without you, without our legacy though. Every single one of you, we talk about it. Y'all don't appreciate it, you probably don't know it, but we talk about you constantly when serving our formation, about our legacy. A legacy built on leadership, excellence, discipline, standards, accountability. My brother-in-law says the best, iron sharpens iron, right? You guys are our iron. We're trying to sharpen ourselves against you every day. First Sergeant Funk, Sergeant Charles Wyckoff, First Sergeant Matt Hill, Corporal Jackson, Sergeant Mason. We stand on the shoulders of titans every single day. Every day. The historical brigade is back. Today, it's back. It stands ready. Our LGOP is strong. Our LGOP is ready. Our LGOP is ready to get in the fight. Thank you. Get in the fight. Fury from the sky. Airborne all the way. Airborne!
508 started beating.
That was one for you, right?
That was one Fury.
Oh, okay, good, all right.
It's amazing what she can make.
Play our video, sir.
Show you all about Iraq. My name is Ryan Bell. I'm the battalion commander for 2 Fury. For the last year, I took command last summer. Last year, we came and deployed to Iraq and Al-Assad June of last year, coming back in February this year. A little different tack. This is my first reunion, and it's been amazing to get to meet each and all y'all, and to get an understanding of really what the family is that 2 Fury and the 508 is all about. My first contact with this regiment, because I grew up in 3rd Brigade as a lieutenant, deploying with them to Iraq in 2003 to Katrina in 2005. Then I left division. I hadn't been back in 15 years. When the list came out, the first person to see me was Jim Brown, the president of the association. Came and tracked me down in the building, handed me some stickers, handed me a notebook with the crest on it, and just to welcome me to the brigade. 2 NCOs down the street who had just left 2 Fury found my office, just telling me about what the battalion had done, what the regiment had been doing in Iraq and Afghanistan over the previous 8 years. And then Neil, the commander before me, passed me some books, and I had a chance to read about the battalion and the regiment. Camp Blanding, going to England, Normandy, Market Garden, Korea, Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iraq again. So I could wrap my head around what an amazing regiment this is, and all the history that had come from it. All the places we've been, the people who've been a part of it, just to get an understanding. And then just before Christmas in 2019, I had a chance to meet Rob. 2 weeks before that no-notice deployment of the IRF to Iraq, dealing with Iran over New Year's in 2020. We talked about the squad leaders in the battalion. He had just finished the Squad Leader of the Year award. Talked about paratroopers. He told me a couple stories about Normandy. I sat and listened, again, trying to wrap my head around what is Fury. And then here, the last 2 days, 3 days, listening to the stories, I figured a couple things, and I rewrote this speech twice since getting here. The big lesson taken from this, Diane, I think you'll agree with me, nothing has changed. The person that joined in 1942 and jumped into Normandy, that was a paratrooper jumping in on D-Day, is no different than the paratrooper that fought in Korea, the paratrooper that fought in Vietnam, the guy that jumped into Grenada, Panama, fought in Iraq or Afghanistan. There is something special about someone who's willing to do something crazy, like jump out of a plane with a ball of silk above their head. And it's a bond and a brotherhood that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. It's that same paratrooper that fought all those campaigns. It's a Fury paratrooper. And all of us here now, all the paratroopers over in the table in the back, up here in the front, we are here because of y'all. Because of the legacy you built, the culture you created in the unit, and the lessons you taught all the people that came down to us. So the leaders now can teach their paratroopers, train their paratroopers to deploy, fight, win, and survive. And we would not be here without everybody else that was in this room. For example, this is a family business if y'all haven't noticed. Private Festo back in the back, 4th generation paratrooper. Great-grandfathers in 325. Grandfathers in 1 Fury and 2 Fury. His dad was in 2 Fury, is still active duty in the Army with 3 deployments to G1. Out in New Mexico, right? Okay. Going back to the battalion, as I was prepping to come here, talking with the paratroopers there, ran into a bunch of others. PFC Ledford and HAC joined because his granddad. PFC Dennis Stout was his name. He enlisted in 1930, served 2 years, got out. When the war kicked off, he re-enlisted and jumped into Normandy on D-Day. His nickname was the Old Man because he was 31 years old and he was the oldest one in his platoon. And after the war, he got out and went back and spent the rest of his life on a farm in Oklahoma. But Private Ledford grew up hearing all the stories from his grandfather. And so he joined on the only thing he could do, which was an airborne contract. Came right back to the 82nd. Our newest paratrooper, Private Moore, over in Alpha Company, he got to the battalion, was on CQ last week. I asked him why he joined the Army. He's, again, about his great-grandfather, who had jumped into both Normandy and Market Garden, then decided to stay, fought through Korea, fought in Vietnam, spent 42 years in the Army. I asked him, do you want to be like your grandfather and have a career like that? He's like, hell no, sir. I'm like, why is that? He got busted, bound a buck sergeant 3 times. He kept getting fights. Got it. Paratroopers never change, right? Our first sergeant Hembry's grandfather, PFC Everidge, was in the 29th Infantry Division on that first assault on Omaha Beach. And time again, just talking with the paratroopers, you learn why they joined, who they are, what caused them to serve. And it keeps coming back. Hey, I had a dad, I had an uncle, my grandfather, my great-grandfather. There's always something that brought them to this. There's a reason why they joined. And it comes back to the legacy that y'all built. Now, that all being said, I'll just tell you a couple stories. And I would imagine as I talk to the stories, you're going to think back to someone you knew when you were in a battalion, you were in a company, you were in a platoon, you were in a squad that was just like it. Because there was always that private who would talk with one of the paratroopers, the private that wanted to attack an armor company with a single hand grenade. The PJ going into Panama who kicked off the division staffer who just had to get his combat jump so he could have a machine gun crew put him in there. Things haven't changed, right? The battalions are still full of a bunch of characters. First Sergeant Hembry, mentioned him a second ago. He's a 2-time company first sergeant. He had my Delta company, then he took over Alpha Company a couple months ago. He's a former RI and runs our pre-ranger program. A couple weeks ago, he's having a party at his house for his kids, and here's a car wreck outside. He comes outside to find a sedan had spun out, gone through his grass, done a donut or two, and ran into a fire, taken out his mailbox, and run into one of the light posts. And so, being like any good paratrooper, runs to make sure the guy's okay, see if there's anything wrong. As he runs up to the car, the driver gets out of the car, hauls ass into the woods. He's like, that's weird. Goes in to check the car, makes sure there's nobody else in there. Smells gasoline, so he's like, I need to get out of this thing before it starts burning. But he looks down and sees there are a whole ton of empty liquor bottles on the floor. His response, forget my language, was like, hell no. Jack could have just easily driven through the window of the house and taken out his family, right? So he turns, looks at the woods, hauls into the woods. It's 11 o'clock at night. It's pitch black. So he does like a good ranger and does SEALs. He takes a knee, stop, look, listen, smell, and he said he sat there for about 4 minutes. The guy's trying to hide. Then his cell phone goes off. Light wipes up, he's 40 meters off to his left at 11 o'clock. First Sergeant Hembry was like a linebacker going for the quarterback on a blindside blitz. He said he speared him right in the middle of the back, took him out, rolled him over, searched him for PII, secured him, walked him back, had him on his knees with all his stuff laid out, ankles crossed, hands behind his back when the police showed up. He called us to tell us about this, talk about how he was bushwhacking through the woods to get it, so his new call sign is Bushwhacker 9. Our Bravo Company commander, Captain Nick McQuinn, 39 years old, joined the Army when he was 35. When he got out of high school, what he did is he enlisted in the French Foreign Legion. Spent 4 years in the French Foreign Legion going across Africa. Got out, went to earn his PhD from Harvard. Speaks 5 languages and working on 2 more. Decided to come back into the Army. Started off as a platoon leader over in the 173rd in Italy, then went down and was the LNO to the Lanceros in Colombia, and then came up and just took command 2 months ago. Sergeant Josh Helrick is a beast. He's in the platoon sergeant in 3rd Platoon Bravo Company. We ran a platoon competition 6 weeks ago. 1.5 mile officer course, full kit, helmet, everything. Average time going through, good time for a platoon, was about 30 to 32 minutes. Halfway through, his newest paratrooper that got there the week before quit. Like, I can't do it, I'm hurting. He'd never really run with a kit, just coming out of basic. Never leave a fallen paratrooper. Sergeant Helrick had the platoon pick him up, carry him through the whole obstacle course. Body armor, everything. And that platoon won by 2 minutes. They ran in 22 minutes and 17 seconds. Sergeant Roush is one of my squad leaders over Charlie Company. Staff Sergeant Roush. While we were deployed, he was a team leader. Before he came in the Army, he was a professional MMA fighter. And his goal was to come in, do 1 tour, then get out and go get his master's in social work so he could go back to the West Coast and work with alcoholics and homeless. He had such a good time downrange teaching his paratroopers how to deploy, fight, win, and survive. He decided to re-enlist for another tour. Right now, he's doing the first semester of his master's degree there in Fayetteville, so he's taking time to get his master's degree. He'll come back this fall and lead a squad through our train-up before we assume IRF next spring. On the side, he still teaches our paratroopers how to box and do movie time, which was a ton of fun when we found gloves in a Connex. You walk up to their company and you got 4 or 5 paratroopers all fighting in the middle of the desert. And on the side benefit, when he re-enlisted, the rest of his fire team re-enlisted too. So with that, like speaking of that, like in the past year, Two Furies re-enlisted 277 paratroopers. Almost half of them re-enlisted to stay in the battalion. Putting the battalion in the top 5 in force comp for re-enlistment. And they do that not because anything special we're doing, but because the team leaders and the squad leaders, those line leaders that are taking care of paratroopers and teaching them how to do those basics, master the basics. And I know, looking at y'all and just having listened the last couple of days, everybody in here has some stories about some characters. You've all known a First Sergeant Hembry that's spirited drunk alcoholic that just wrecked your car or wrecked your house. Or you know someone who kicked off the division staff from a jump so you could make sure you had the paratrooper with the machine gun that actually needed to be there. Those people will make this whole thing worthwhile. This is a people business. If you don't love your paratroopers, why are you here? Every one of the when we talk to the battalion and talk to them, every paratrooper in the formation today signed up during time of war. I've got 7 paratroopers in the battalion that were born after 9/11. They haven't known a time when this nation has not been at war. They all volunteered to jump, fight, and win, and do what their nation needed them to do. And we stand on the shoulders of the paratroopers that came before us that built the regiment for us. So to each and every one of you, I want to say thank you. For the family members that were here that supported the paratroopers in uniform, for the paratroopers that served and deployed and fought, thank you for what you did. You saw General Donahue, All-American 6. He talks consistently about who we are as a division, our culture. He says leaders have 2 moral imperatives that we need to be doing. First one I talked about earlier. We train our paratroopers and their families so they can deploy, fight, win, and survive. Second part, something y'all have shown me this entire experience here, is that we treat each other like family. Because everybody is somebody's son, daughter, mother, father, brother, sister. We do that because we've learned it from y'all. As you tell the stories about what happened in Market Garden, or hear the stories about what happened in Korea or in Vietnam, about taking care of your buddy next to you, taking care of your brother, that's carried on all the way down. That legacy has not stopped. Listen to all those stories over the past week. It's what we've done from the beginning. It's the foundation of what the 508th is, what the Airborne is, the 82nd is. Proud as hell to be a part of it. So I do want to ask, if y'all can, grab your glass. Just a toast to those who are no longer with us, and to those who carry the torch once we're gone. Fury from the sky.
Fury from the sky.
We're going to go ahead and do the presentation of the 508 Awards. Family and friends.
My name is Troy Palmer. I'm the proud son of a 508 combat veteran. Of course, that's not why they called me up here, but just thought I would tell you. I'm the chairperson of the awards committee for the Family and Friends of the 508. I'm going to ask Chris Harris to come up and present the award.
First of all, I mean, this reunion would never have happened if it wasn't for Andrew Ritter. I can tell you that. So So we'd like to present as a appreciation award, Deeds Hill 30 print signed by Rock Merritt and Bob Chisholm, as well as a sustaining membership, a lifetime membership in our 508 Family and Friends Association. So Andrew, please come up here. Over the years, in attending All-American Week, many of us have had the pleasure of meeting Gold Star families. And it's been a sincere honor to meet parents. This organization also did a major project at 1st Battalion 508 with the memorial pavers, or people call them different things. And it was great to be there, I think in 2017 when we dedicated those. And so we have, Russell Bell's parents here, as well as Joey Riley's parents here. And out of appreciation for not only the sacrifice of their families, but their continued support and interest in the 82nd Airborne Division, we want to also extend sustaining member lifetime memberships to your families. So would you please come on?
As Gold Star families, it's always a sad time, but a wonderful time when you remember our sons and our daughters. My son, First Sergeant Russell Brian Bell, was killed August 2nd, 2012, and he was a member of the 1st 508 Battalion when he died. And I would like to present Brian, I would like to present a check for your group in memory of my son for $1,508. $1,508.
Would you like to say anything? Go ahead.
You don't have to, Rob. You can't. I'll just say it right from here. We're always thankful to be included. We count it as an honor and a privilege to be among all of you.
Based on what we listened to today, or this evening, and one thing that we cherish are these letters. And I can't tell you what these men just said today, what Joey's letters would say about how he needs to love and protect his brothers. And that was from boot camp to the time he was overseas in Kabul. So thank you, because he truly, what you talked about, knowing the left, knowing the right, who's next to you, that just epitomizes the first of the 508, how much the brothers they just love each other, protect each other. So thank you.
I would ask Colonel Stone and Colonel Bell to come up and present the next honorary Sergeant Major of the regiment. Yes, excellent. Thank you.
Sergeant Major Dunn.
Sergeant Major Dunn.
Sergeant Major Dunn, post!
All right. Everyone can stay seated. Attention to orders. For service in the special interests of regimental continuity, tradition, esprit de corps, and by order of the Secretary of the Army, Command Sergeant Major retired Claude Bud Dunn is appointed the Honorary Sergeant Major of the 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment. Signed, David M. Hodney, Major General, United States Army, Chief of Infantry.
Attention orders. In recognition of outstanding contributions to regimental continuity, tradition, and esprit de corps, by order of the Secretary of the Army, Command Sergeant Major retired Claude Bud Dunn is granted the assigned distinction of Distinguished Member of the 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment. Signed, Major General David M. Donahue, United States Army, Chief of Infantry.
It's about time he made something of himself.
I want you to all notice the boots. They are spit shine. Well, I used to think when I retired, I said, that's it. I'll go to all the reunions and tell longer and longer war stories and bigger and better and lie like I don't. And that'll be my life. And so I was sitting at home a couple months ago. My wife gets this phone call. She says, she comes in, she's got a hand over the phone. She said, some guy named Chris Harris. And I just couldn't put it together. And I finally, he started talking. It took me about 10 minutes to realize who he was. And he said, Sergeant Dunn, he says, you know that Rock Merritt died? I said, yes, sir, I do. He says, how would you feel about taking over Honorary Sergeant Major? And I thought, jeez, how do you follow a legend? You know, well, the only thing I can say is that I'm going to do the best I can for the troops of the 82nd. I lived by three things for 33 years. You lead from the front, you take care of your troops, and you train to standards. Anything else is BS. But that's my life. Now, I like to say one thing. Thanks for all the people who voted me in, and Chris Harris and all these guys. And I've got to say something now. And what a great time to do it. I went to Vietnam with the 3rd Brigade, Colonel Bowling and Colonel Carpenter, my battalion commander. And I went with also another buck sergeant. And he happened to be over me. And so he was my boss. And so on the way over, I'm not going to tell you about what we started, but anyway, on the way over, he started telling me how to stay alive. And because he'd already done one tour with the cab. And so I listened intently, because I had been in Germany with the 509th Airborne playing around over there. And so we got there, and for the next 2, 3, 4 months, he kept telling me these little tidbits of information to stay alive. And then I looked up one day and they told him, he said, you're going home. Because he didn't spend a full year at home. He'd only been over here 6 months. They shipped all those guys home. So he left me. And so I had to carry on by myself. But I want to acknowledge this guy right now because this is the greatest time to do it. This is my, I guess you call him my brother, my foxhole mate, Don't ask, don't tell. Phil, you have to stand up, man.
All right.
If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be here. And there was one other person in this room I've got to make stand up. First Sergeant, would you stand up, please? First Sergeant, don't make me yell. He's a Korean War veteran. He was with the 82nd Company, first to the 508th. I mean, they tagged him out of Germany and sent him all the way to Vietnam to be the first sergeant of B Company, first to 508. And he said, as you can see, he's got a star on his CIB. Not many of them left. Thank you, First Sergeant. Anyway, I would like to thank all of you for voting me in, I guess. Did you get some pictures? I want to send them to my mom. She's not going to believe this. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You know, I said earlier that this reunion wouldn't have happened for Andrew, but it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Wanda Hamilton. I flew to Fayetteville on December 10th last year, and that was the last time I had dinner with Rock. And the first thing he asked about, what's going on with this reunion? What's your plan? I said, well, Rock, we kind of have this plan that we're going to do it in Columbus, but you know, this whole COVID thing, but we're plugging away, and this is the plan. Andrew Ritter's involved, Wanda Hamilton's involved. And he said, Rock said, Chris, I think you got a good idea there. Said, just keep going with it. Everything will be okay. I think it's good to have it sooner in the summer, not in October, and just make it happen. And then I get on the phone with Wanda, and she says, yeah, Chris, I think it'll all work out. I'm gonna get a lot of my family there. Everything will be okay. This is that generation, right? They know how to stay calm and make things happen. Stay cool. And she says, I don't care if I have to wear a mask. I'm going to the reunion. That's what she said. So some of you may have heard me say in Fort Walton Beach, I think it was in 2018, you know, we hear that all our websites are www something, right? And I said, that stands for what a wonderful woman she is. I said, that's what WWW stands for in terms of what I think about Wanda Hamilton. And I would like Wanda to stand up and have all her family members stand up there in attendance. You talk about getting attendance. She called in all the troops for sure. Anyway, but it goes beyond that. Wanda Hamilton has been a diehard attendee with her husband, passed away, Ed, you know, World War II paratrooper, to all these reunions. She's been so supportive of the association. She's been very supportive of any special projects we have, whether it was the memorial pavers at One Fury, whether it was, you know, Rock's paver ceremony, and establishment of the Squad Leader of the Year Award Fund. She always has been there, and she was there again, once again, no surprise to this reunion. This association has an award called Person of the Year. It's not always given out every year, because it's for extraordinary contributions to this association. And I can tell you this, in this room, Wanda Hamilton suffices to have given extraordinary contributions over many years. And so Wanda Hamilton is the Person of the Year this year. Would you like to say something? I'll bring the mic down.
I'd just like to say thank you to everyone.
Let me get the mic, okay?
Thank you, and I've appreciated that my husband of all them years, and we had 66 years and more together, and we've always been with the 508 forever, and we've always loved it and enjoyed it, and we wouldn't miss a thing for anything. And then when we started making the pillows, it really helped a lot. It really made everybody pleased, and I was so thankful that I did them. And so I want to thank everybody that's here tonight, and gladly everybody showed up, and I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate Chris for everything he does for us.
So the other thing that's special about this award this year is that we voted as a board earlier last year, I think it was. It's named the Bob Chisholm Person of the Year Award. And as you know, Bob Chisholm couldn't be here. We saw a greeting at breakfast the other day. We wanted to do a Zoom call, but not feeling real well these last couple of days. That's really important because Bob's another one that has attended reunions, and he's best friend of Rock Merritt, and he's another All-American Hall of Famer. So we have 49 inducted, and 3 of them are from the 508. Leonard Funk, Rock Merritt, Bob Chisholm. So it means all the more special that one that gets the first named Bob Chisholm Person of the Year Award.
Do a little, everyone, if you could, we're gonna go ahead and stand and do the 82nd Airborne song. Get ready to close this thing out. All right. Oh, I know.
Everyone remembers it.
What do you know about the 82nd Airborne song? Get up. Every word. All right, let's stand up.
Put on your boots, boots, boots and parachutes, shoot, shoot. We're going up, up, up. We're coming down, down, down. We're all American and proud to be. And parachutes, we're the soldiers, those are teachers. We're going some by their fighters from the enemy. We're coming up, there's a sky parachute burst. We're all American and fight, we will. And parachutes, all the guns of the forces. Get ready! Airborne from skies of blue and blue. We're coming through. Just take your boats today. Let's go. Put on your boots, your boots, your parachutes. Get all those fighters ready to attack today. Look up, or we'll be gone. Into the dawn. Stations time to fight them all. The 82nd wing. Hey, hey! Put on your boots, boots, boots and parachutes. Shoot, shoot. We're going up. We're all American and proud to be. And parachutes, we're the soldiers of liberty. We're going on right there, fighters from the enemy. There's a sky parachute burst. We're all American and fight, we will. And parachutes, all the guns of the soldiers. Get ready! Airborne from skies of blue and blue. We're coming through. Just and take your march today. Let's go.
Good, please stay standing for the benediction, and after that, please stand for the retirement of the colors. Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for blessing this reunion and allowing it to be a success. Father, I pray you continue to watch over and protect our Gold Star families as they have provided us the opportunity to know and serve amongst these true heroes. I pray as we all part ways this weekend, you guide and protect all of our paratroopers and their families as they make their journeys home, and allow them to feel peace as they have helped keep the traditions and the memories of the airborne alive. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. Please stay standing for the retirement of the colors.
Sir, request permission to retire the colors.
Retire the colors.
Spirit from the sky.
All the way.
Order. On. Right. Face. Forward. On.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Sergeant Majors. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to end the ceremony, we will have our great bagpiper get ready to close us out the evening. But before that, we do have a silent auction and a few other things going on this evening. What you have here right now is the last flag flown over Rock Merritt's house. This flag will be the first one in the silent auction. It will be the very first item. You have the sergeant majors from the 1st Battalion, the 2nd Battalion, the 508th conducting the fold. They'll ensure that it's folded properly and put into the case.